meet my bride. Let's go for a ride in my newfangled automobile. Just where we will go, nobody knows, but it's sure a great way to feel. Behind the wheel of the speed meter steel, it's my newfangled automobile.
Hello and welcome to Vintage Car History. I'm Wild Bill. Americans of my generation may remember the TV commercials of the 1970s which sang baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. The basic idea here is to suggest that the brand itself represents a nation. And 50 years later, you can still find folks that agree with the old ads. Very clever advertising, which to me begs the question, who was the first to advertise at that level? And in the US, a fair argument can be made that the National was the first car maker to try to use the media at that scale to become a national brand. Well, let's take a look. Our story begins in Indianapolis, where, in 1900, some guys decided to get into the car business. All of these men knew each other and had worked together in the bicycle business. Initially, National, or The National, was founded by Phil Goetz and Larry Dow, both men being managers and racers for American Bicycle. The city was abuzz about cars, and they felt that Indianapolis was ready for a great electric car. Phil and Larry had a big vision for their company and quickly added facilities and people to help bring it to life. One of those people was Arthur Newby. An avid cyclist, he was amongst the founders of the Zigzag Club and was the CFO for a large manufacturer of milling machines. He also knew a lot of people that were getting into the car business in Indiana, such as Carl Fisher and James Allison of Indy 500 fame, and, of course, Daniel Marmon, the man behind the famous car of the same name. With Arthur running the books and Larry and Phil designing and building, the first models hit the showroom floor, complete with ad campaign during the winter of 1900 and 1901. They wanted to build a car that represented the nation, hence national, and did so with the following claims in print. Quote, "Our electric vehicles can be understood and handled by a child. They are superior to others in simplicity of construction, ease of handling, durability, absence of noise and other unpleasant features, and elegant of design and finish." They built quite a variety of electric cars for their first lineup, from runabouts to taxis to dog carts. And they came up with another idea that would become ingrained into American car culture, the warranty. All National cars came with a 60-day factory warranty against any defects in the drive chain or any other significant aspect of the car. Flat tires or misuse of the car was excluded. Now, it is true that American companies like Winton and such would fix issues with new cars, but it was the National that was the first to give a certificate of warranty on every new car sold. But there was a problem with electric cars. They worked okay for occasional city use, but the battery technology of the day just didn't give them the range and fast recharge needed without being too large to fit into a car. And so in 1904, they began to change gears, going into gas-powered cars. They bought 4.6-liter four-cylinder engines from the Chicago-based Rutenberg Motor Company, and within a year, dropped electric cars entirely. Armed with powerful engines and solid designs, National went to the races and did not disappoint. The race cars kept getting bigger and faster, and so did the production cars. They continued to use Rutenberg engines, but also began to make their own, massive T-head straight fours, making some 50 horsepower by 1906. National wanted to associate car racing with being American, and for National to be the best car in the sport. But more importantly, for an American to be able to buy essentially whatever car it was that won the race. Here's an excerpt from an advertisement of their Model 40, which was published in 1910. Quote, "To our mind, the winning of a race proves nothing concerning a factory's product. unless it is done with a stock car, which differs in no particular of material or workmanship from those regularly on sale. And there can be no other justifiable purpose in racing than to demonstrate the quality of the factory's product. End quote. With most, if not all, of the company's founders involved in the building of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it should come as no shock that the National was a prominent car in the promotion of the Speedway both on and off the track. The first Indy 500 was won by her sister mark, Marmon, but National took the win in 1912, with Joe Dawson driving his National Model 40 to victory. It would be the first and only time that a completely stock car would win the Indy 500. Makes you want to buy one. Prior to World War I, the National was the most winning make of American car in American racing, with hundreds of victories under her tires. It's unfortunate that National itself didn't survive, as the marque never really recovered from World War I and was completely defunct by 1924. And although we don't think of the National today when we think of an all-American car, you would have 100 years ago. And because of that, when you think of American car racing, you think of Indy 500 and NASCAR. And the National was the first purebred American stock car, thus creating true brands of American car racing. Thanks for watching Vintage Car History, and we'll see you next week. Peace.